am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Smack 'em a gob! And that right there goes out to my friend, Dr. Fuck, aka Ralph Vieira, who's been in the hospital for the last few days, with a finger infection. And you know what? Hopefully he gets out of that joint soon and gets back here on YouTube to make some kick-ass fucking videos. So yes, that goes out to Ralph. I figured I would do something different tonight. But before we go into that, I got another shout out to do. And this goes out to Billy Hurst. And he just celebrated his 1-year anniversary of opening up a record store throughout the pandemic, And it's very cool that he did this. It's very cool that, the record store thing is still going to keep going strong. But he started his own record shop a year ago called River Bend Records, which is really cool. I think more people should definitely invest their money. If you're looking to start a business, start up a record store. I know I would do it if I had the funds. Because we need record stores. We need people to be out there buying physical copies of music. And stop with the Spotify bullshit, man. Because Spotify, iTunes, is what's killing music. And of course, the fucking suited morons in the mainstream who are also contributing into killing off music. Fuck those people. But anyways, without further ado, now this episode was supposed to be the Metalben Mean Mike show for Sunday night, but unfortunately, Mean Metal Mike couldn't make it tonight. He was feeling tired, so you know what, I'm going to carry this episode on my own. That's right, I'm going to carry this thing on my own, and I figured what I would do is, I thought this was a pretty cool subject. I figured I'd talk about bands that started out sounding different. Bands who, started out maybe sounding like a completely different band. Now, some of these bands morphed into a different musical directions. Some for the worst, or some for the best, some for the worst, But anyway, without further ado, we're going to get right into this. We're going to get right into this motherfucker. That's what we're going to do. So I was going through my collection. Now, there's a few things I don't have, but I dug out mainly bands' debut albums. How different they are compared to what the rest of their catalog is, And, well, we're going to get started. Nothing's in chronological order here, so we're just going to get freaking started here. And, well, yeah, this album is definitely far different than pretty much anything they would do afterwards. And I'm hoping we get some viewers here. I know it's 11 o'clock at night, Sunday night. Come on, man. Bring the views to Metalben's Chronicles. We need those views. Anyway. So, okay. Well, I'm going to get started anyways, whether people are viewing or not. But we're going to go with Supple Torah, with their debut EP, Bestial Devastation, and their self-titled debut LP, full-length. Well, obviously Morbid Visions, which I have reviewed in the past on my old YouTube channel. Yeah, now on their debut album, man, they got more of a blackened proto-death metal type of sound, Very, Celtic Frost influenced. Celtic Frost. However the fucking hell you pronounce that shit. Yeah, very influenced by Celtic Frost. And man, this stuff right here is straight up primitive sounding. You can definitely hear where the second wave of Norwegian black metal would go on this, pertainingly on Morbid Visions. You can really hear it. It's got that very raw, primitive production. The playing's a bit sloppy. The guitars are definitely out of tune with each other. You can tell, you know, and I guess Max Cavalier at the time thought it sounded freaking cool. Didn't even realize that the guitars were out of tune with each other. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Great album. I think this is an underrated album, to be honest. Out of all the Supple Torah albums, like the two that mainly get mentioned are Beneath the Remains and Arise, or Chaos AD, or that horrible new metal album, I can't get the words out. Root. Fuck. That's hard. And then everything afterwards was just a fucking disjointed disaster, you know. But yes, this right here, you know what, you gotta check this out. Supple Torah, Morbid Visions. Very different sounding compared to anything out of their catalog, you know. And there's been a couple different phases of Supple Torah. Sepultura, as it's pronounced in Brazil, I guess. But yeah. So yeah, that's my first showing here, man. I mean, just very raw and primitive sounding to me. Like I said, had a big influence on the second wave of black metal in a lot of ways, especially on the Morbid Visions release. Okay, now this one's not metal. This one is not metal, but I had to throw it in here because an era of the band that's definitely not talked about. It's kind of ignored, but, well, we got Journey. I broke out their debut album. Actually, their first three albums are very different sounding compared to what they would become. On here, jazz fusion, progressive rock, way different sounding. Sounds nothing like the Journey everybody knows. Neil Sean's only like 15, or no, he might be like 18 or 19 at this point. He was like 15 when he joined Santana. But yeah, he's like around 18, 19 at this point, and the playing on here is very progressive. You can hear some jazz fusion, like I said. Even hints of double bass drumming on here, which is kind of ironic. I mean, and a lot of the stuff on here is mainly instrumental. You got Greg Rowley doing the vocals, Honestly, dude, this is the only Journey I can really listen to. Excuse me there. The first three albums, the self-titled debut from 74, Look Into the Future, which came out in 76, and Next, which came out in 77. And they would get Steve Perry, and the rest is freaking history. We all know about that. But yeah, definitely check out early Journey if you want to hear something completely different, non-radio friendly, non-commercial, Okay, up next. Now, I did put a couple bands in here from the Big Four, and I do think this release is quite different compared to all their other albums. Now, this is a band, too, that went through some transitions. It did some different things over the years, so, like, their whole catalog don't sound the same after this, but they never made an album like this again. I'm talking about the debut by Anthrax. Fistful of fucking metal. That's right. Now on here, yes, to me it's more speed metal leaning. Definitely new wave of British heavy metal leaning. You can definitely hear some early Iron Maiden influences on here. I mean, Neil Turbin's vocal delivery is more like your typical traditional heavy metal vocalist, in my opinion. Definitely not a thrash metal vocalist. And yeah, there's some thrash metal on here, don't get me wrong. But I think this is more of a speed metal album, to be honest. And I don't think Anthrax would ever sound this way again. I mean, when Spreading the Disease came, they were already transitioning over to more of a crossover thrash type of sound. that would really go into effect on an album like Among the Living, But yeah, yeah, man, definitely Fistful of Metal, dude. The most different sounding Anthrax album, in my opinion, and to me, the best Anthrax album. I know that's going to be debatable, disputable, whatever. Anybody that knows me, knows this channel, already knows that Anthrax Fistful of Metal is my favorite Anthrax album. Okay, now I dug out another one here, when it pertains to the big four of thrash, and to me, their debut is quite different sounding too, compared to the rest of their catalog. Now, this band would pretty much stay in the same style for most of their career, and there's now rumors going around of a reunion for this band, which I kind of predicted it when they retired in the first place back in 2019. I'm talking about Slayer with Show No Mercy. Man, again, another album that's pretty darn fast and aggressive, yes, but has more leanings to the new wave of British heavy metal. You can hear some Iron Maiden influences in here, especially on a track like Cryonics, Very Iron Maiden sounding. Metal Force, Face the Slayer, kind of reminds me of Genghis Khan a little bit, It's got that Killer's Iron Maiden vibe to it. I mean, this right here, all in all, man, is very different compared to the rest of their catalog. Like I said, definitely more new wave of British heavy metal sounding, but played faster. I mean, you can hear the Kill 'Em All influence too. Obviously, these guys were influenced by Metallica and Exodus. I mean, but yeah, excellent debut album. Over the years, it's really going up higher and higher in my ranking. It's like my number 2 favorite Slayer album. I just think it's fucking awesome. It's a great debut, too, amongst thrash metal. But yeah, my number 3, or what am I saying here? But yeah, Slayer Show No Mercy, man. An excellent fucking album that sounds completely different from the rest of the Slayer catalog, but anybody that's a fucking Slayer fan pretty much already knows that. Okay, moving on. Looks like we got 2 viewers here. Feel free to comment, whoever's here. Now, we got another one here. A band that would basically change their name and completely change their style. And they actually started changing their style when they were still under this band name. Dominus. Now, this is their debut album that came out way back in 1993. To View to the Dim, excuse me. That's right. And Dominus would go on to become Volbeat. They even released an album called Volbeat in 1997. Which is basically a predecessor of where they would go. But on here, straight up brutal death metal, heavy as fuck. Very raw, guttural production. I mean, the vocalist, Michael, oh my god, what's his fucking last name? Is it Pelston? It's something like that, but anyway. Okay, I'll let you in the chat. Yeah, I could definitely use some help here. So I'll send you a link here. But yes, fucking Dominus. I'm telling you what, y'all know what Volbeat sounds like. Pretty much mainstream rockabilly, hard rock. This right here, though, is pure death metal. It's just strange listening to him do guttural vocals. And he does a damn good job at it. I know a few years back there were rumors going around that he wanted to make another death metal album. I'm pretty sure it would be as a death metal project. I can't see Volbeat going full on death metal again and bringing back the Dominus name. Be kind of cool, but I don't see it happening. But yeah, check out Dominus, pertainingly their first 2 albums. Their last two albums, well, yeah, they're definitely in a different direction. And you would basically hear what would become Volbeat now. The final album they did has a fucking strong Metallica influence to it. And he almost sounds like Hetfield when he sings on that album, like around the Justice period. But anyways, but right now I am going to invite Ryan Arnold to the chat since me and Mike couldn't make it tonight and we couldn't do the Metalben me and Mike show tonight. But anyways, we will invite Ryan to the stream here. Hold on a minute. What's going on, Necrotic Nick? Welcome, man. This might be a cool subject for you if you want to jump in too. I'm just talking about bands that had a completely different sound when they first began. Let's see, I went through... Oh yeah, the one I was telling you about, Dominus. That's it right there. Dominus would go on to become Volbeat. Yeah. This is just straight up death metal, man. Came out around 93. It's a pretty hard to find CD. Of course, Supple Torah I talked about with Morbid Visions. Actually talked about early Journey when they were progressive rock. Anthrax, Fistful of Metal, way different, and obviously Show No Mercy. That's what I've talked about so far. Okay. I'll send out some links. I'm going to invite Ryan to the stream too. Be back in a minute. What's going on, man?
Oh, not too much. Sitting down here going through a lot of stuff. more collection stuff. I already got one racked up, and I'm working on the next one. Too many releases this month, so I'm gonna have to cover a good chunk of them in collection updates too, just because we got other shit we got to put out too. But yeah, no, I saw the subject. That's an interesting subject. I was thinking about bands that had actually changed their sound outside of, like, obvious ones like Metallica and shit like that. God,
right.
I don't want to go digging through all the shit, but I can think of some for damn sure. But we can wait for Brian to get here.
Yeah, I dug out some CDs.
I saw the Dominus one. I'm kind of curious what that actually goes for in Discogs. That's a pretty cool fucking find.
I'm pretty sure this is a bootleg copy, to be honest, because I found this on eBay, like, would have been back in August, and I only paid like $15 for it. I'm pretty sure it's bootlegged, but I don't know. Well, I had to grab it.
I'm kind of curious about that one.
Because before I would find copies of it, and it'd be like really expensive, like, I don't know, between like $150 to $200.
Dude.
So,
how's it? Is that spelled with a U, like Dominus?
Dominus, yeah. Dominus.
What's the name of the album? Oh wait, hold on. I think that might be it.
View to the Dim.
Okay, yeah. Wow, it's their debut.
Yep. Yeah, straight up, just brutal death metal.
Wow.
Yeah, when you when you listen to it, you'll be like, "Holy shit, they used to sound like that."
7 for sale for $44.19 for the OG version of it.
Right. What's going on, Ryan?
Not much. I saw the name of that stream. I'm like, I might have a few that I know.
All right, cool.
Obviously, when I saw that title, there's the one obvious one. The one obvious one that immediately jumped to mind. Metallica.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a no. That's literally a no-brainer. I mean, freaking, you go from Kill 'Em All to, Lightning or something, then you go drastically into the Black Album where it's more, radio friendly, geared towards the radio, and then you the real, all that stuff. That instantly came to mind. Like,
yeah, I mean that's. I mean, you could say Megadeth too, but at least technically Metallica bounced kind of back. I don't know. There's still that leftover. We want to still do a single every now and then, sort of feel to them. But
I think Megadeth stuck more to the metal compared to what Metallica did. Well, there was
risk. Euthanasia was definitely tamed down too. I mean, there's still some good songs on it.
I do like Euthanasia.
It has its moments. It does. I like Tout Le Monde. I think it's a really, really good song. Reckoning Day is a fucking banger of an opener.
I love
a killer too. Addicted to Chaos. That's a cool one.
Train of Consequences is pretty fun.
Another obvious one, and I just pulled up their 2001 album, Opeth.
Yeah.
I think they went from straight up black metal, and then the My Arms Are Hers, Still Like Blackwater Park, and all that. That sprung to mind as soon as I was looking through all my vinyl. That came to mind.
I mean, the prog years are definitely a huge change. I've gotten used to it. I really like the last one. And I guess that's always been like a thing that Ockerfeldt's loved. He loves fucking old prog rock. Like that's one of his main jams. So it really wasn't surprising that he changed over. I was going to say, go ahead.
Nah, not really. You kind of expected that eventually he would change over.
Yeah.
Kind of wish he had stuck with Bloodbath, but Old Nick's good. Old Nick's good. I like Paradise Lost. I was going to say Mastodon. Mastodon's a really, really good example. And I think they did the change, like, subtly. Like, it wasn't like... Well, I mean, Crack the Sky was kind of abrupt, but it still sounded like Mastodon. It wasn't like, you can totally dismiss this first half, and there's something like a different band here. It still sounds like them. It's just them doing different stuff. But you listen to Remission and fucking Leviathan, even Blood Mountain, and then compare that to Crack the Sky and everything that came out afterwards. It's pretty different.
That's true, yeah.
Even listening to the singles they've been putting out for Hushed and Grim, it sounds a little bit like some moments from Crack the Sky to me. And
like, I haven't heard it yet.
The single's been good. It's a 2-discer and it's like an hour and a half long. So
it's like the last Opeth album. I still haven't listened to it yet.
It's good. Honestly, it's the best one of this prog, thing they're doing now. I think it has some of their best songs in it. It has some like heavier moments, but I mean, it's not like Deliverance heavy or anything like that.
No,
right.
That's gone. That ship has sailed a proggy fucking ocean.
Unless they somehow get someone who can do growls.
No, they won't. I don't think Ockerfeldt's in love with it anymore. Like, he doesn't have like a big,
I can clearly tell. Yeah, just listening to some of the stuff they've done when it came to the growl stuff, he doesn't have it anymore.
I mean, he can do enough live. Like the last time I saw him, actually, it was about a week or two before the fucking pandemic fucking full bore hit. He was sick too. Who knows? He might have even had it. But he even said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not able to like hit some of the notes. Kind of sick, but I wanted to make sure we got this show because you all showed up." Excuse me. And yeah, his growls were definitely weaker, but he was still able to sing. He just couldn't hit the higher notes. But what really surprised me was Frederick ended up backing him up, and I didn't know Frederick could sing. Frederick can sing his balls off. I was like, holy shit, where did that come from? Because usually it's the keyboardist do it, and he's good.
Wow. Right.
But yeah, Frederick came in and fucking hit some incredible notes, and honestly, it became one of my favorite Opeth shows just because Frederick flexed his fucking muscles once again and showed off that, yeah, dude, I'm a pretty badass guitarist, but I can do this too.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I seen him. It was a while ago now, but I seen him put up a video, or somebody probably uploaded it, where they were playing Demon of the Fall live. It's kind of different. Yeah, it's kind of different because they were adding keyboard parts in it.
Was that before Per Weiberg joined?
It was pretty recent. Like,
well,
I want to say 2018. This performance happened.
Yeah, I think the second time I saw him, which it was a meet and greet. My brother-in-law and I were like, we got to do at least one of these meet and greets, and it's fucking Opeth. And it was awesome. I got to fucking talk to Michael Ockerfeld about old school fucking Scorpions albums. He's a big Uli John Roth fan.
Oh yeah, same here.
But we were right up close. This was at a Goodyear Amphitheater in Akron, which this place was built with perfect acoustics. Like, it sounded fucking beautiful in there. And we were right up close enough to where my brother-in-law was able to lift up his phone and get a picture of fucking Frederick's whole effects pedal array. Pretty impressive. Cool. But yeah, they played like the heavier stuff. I was kind of surprised because last time we saw them, they stuck to only stuff with clean vocals, no harsh. And of course, fans were like, man, but they still put on a good show. But yeah, they played Demon of the Fall, and keyboardist was very active during that. I was like, couldn't remember if that was prepared before he joined the band. But I mean, they ripped it up. It was heavier than fucking hell. They played fucking opening track on fucking Ghost Reveries. Why can't I think of it? Ghost of Perdition. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, played that. Michael sounded good doing the growls, but yeah, like the old shit. I mean, their encore was fucking Deliverance.
Right.
It was so good, dude. I mean, I get chills every time I think of that ending breakdown. Ugh, just beautiful. But yeah. They still can do the heavy stuff, and Michael still can growl, but he doesn't project his voice. And I think it's because, well, he's more of a singer now, and he wants to preserve it. Because, I mean, it sounds like he's doing it safely. Like, in terms of, like, because, I mean, like Barnes destroyed his fucking voice, but, I think Ockerfeld tried to find ways to be able to fucking do that safely without just wrecking his voice over a short period of time. But yeah, I mean, it's different now. It's still good.
Be cool to see them live.
They're incredible. Opeth is like jaw-dropping musicianship, and God, sometimes they'll even do like fan requests and shit. Like the fans are just shouting out titles like, "Well, we can't do that one because we're in the wrong tuning, and I don't have the other guitar." And he'll crack like fucking lewd jokes and just bullshit with everyone in between changes and shit like that. But I mean, when it comes down to the music, God, they are just incredible live.
Right.
And at least these days, like, again, you will get to hear some of the old heavy stuff. It's I think it's kind of like reluctantly him playing it because like, this is an old song. We like it. But mostly I think he wants to fill the set with more of the proggy material, which at least it's gotten better. Like, I'm still
Right.
not a fan of oh shit. What was the one was the second, not the one after Heritage?
Oh, what was that? Shoot, I can't remember now.
2014.
It's not Hell Communion.
Hell
Hell
Communion, yep. Yeah, I'm still not a fan of that one, but Sorceress I actually did like, and the new one is really, really good. But yeah, I mean, he wants to fill the set with that stuff, and honestly, if he's playing bangers of songs on those albums, I got no problem with it.
Right.
I mean, bands change. They you know.
Yeah.
Unless you're
band.
Cannibal Corpse or Immolation or Incantation. I mean, there's bands that like they have a sound and they stick to it, and I like those bands too. Like,
definitely, same here.
But I like hearing bands explore different sounds and not necessarily just completely. If they start off with a great sound and then completely abandon it in favor of something else, like unless it's really good. That's the thing I hate, where you kind of alienate a fan base.
Right. I agree.
I'm trying to think of other ones that drastically change their sounds.
Here's one. Def Leppard.
Yeah, dude, their early stuff is awesome. I pretty much
special.
I tap out of Pyromania. Pyromania is the last good album. I do like that.
Yeah, I'm the one that goes.
That's where I tap out to.
Yeah, Hysteria was... God, it just sounded so fucking fake.
It does. That's an album I liked when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. You saw the videos. It was kid on MTV. Like, yeah, this is cool. I want to be these dudes. And then, as you grow up, it's like, man, this is kind of boring. Their older stuff was way more interesting.
I was going to say, it's weird. What actually made me hate Hysteria, 1996, I walk into a drip store, right? And I find On Through the Night for $1. And I take it home and listen to it. I'm like, is this the same fucking band? Because they sound so different on it.
Yeah, I mean,
like they definitely had, they definitely had that new wave of British heavy metal sound on the first album.
And I love that shit. Like the cool organic production, the harmonies and shit.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, you get bit by the fame bug, and then record labels come in there and it's like, listen, this sold really well. Can you do it again? Except pussify it even further.
Pretty much. You got to make money. You got to make those billions or whatever.
I get it. I don't have to like it, but I get it.
Right. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I grew up with that stuff. Still love it from time to time. The Hysteria, the Adrenalize, I think I even got, what was it, Retroactive on cassette.
So I'm going through bands right
this
now.
Album right here.
Which one?
This one, Retroactive.
I do.
I remember seeing that cover because
I do have that on. I have that on CD.
Yeah, there's like this. These were all from my dad's collection.
It's actually got a few pretty heavy tracks on it. Like a couple re-recordings of some older songs.
Yeah, we got stuff I liked on here. I think I like the 2 steps behind the acoustic version. I believe which one was the piano version? I think this was a Heartbeat was one. I think they ended up pulling those two on the Vault, that 95 greatest hits, along with Have You Ever Needed Someone So Bad? I think, and that was the first Def Leppard album I ever owned. Not this one, and just but I do believe it had what was it? One of the songs on there, something like a Heartbreaker break or something like that, from High and Dry. I can't remember.
Bringing on the Heartbreak.
Yeah,
it's a good song.
Yeah, that's a good album. Oh yeah!
I remember listening to that on.
What's up, Dominic? Metal piano music. How's it going, man?
Ooh, well, I mean,
Another
I
one.
guess.
Oh, go ahead.
Guess because they changed their sound. Meshuggah, early Meshuggah is definitely very different than
Jet.
anything post Chaos Sphere.
Yeah.
That's very true. They had more of a thrash metal sound on their first album.
Contradictions Collapse is a banger of an album. It's just very technical thrash. But
Right.
yeah, I think it was the Nun EP that got a little bit groovier, a little bit more of the polyrhythm stuff, and then they were off to the fucking races. I mean, I don't think they play any Contradictions Collapse stuff live anymore. They'll still play like Destroy, Erase, Improve stuff, like Future Breed Machine. I've seen them do that multiple times. Some whoops ass.
That's a killer album. That's probably my favorite Meshuggah album.
God, that's such a tough one. I really love Obzen. I jammed the fuck out of that. Dude, Bleed hit everyone like a ton of bricks. Everyone was like, dude, how do it? His feet? How?
That's very true. That is a kick-ass album.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I remember when Bleed first came out, man. I was like, holy fuck, this kicks ass. Because it's so fucking heavy sounding. It's so heavy sounding.
That chug, and I guess it's not just like the 8-string guitars in there. They also had like 6-string and 7-string guitars they layered in there too to make the chugging more distinct.
I noticed that because you can kind of tell it's got a unique sound to it.
I was already like a huge fan of Meshuggah by the time that dropped. I wasn't the biggest fan of Catch 33 just because of the way they record it. I didn't like the fact that it was a drum machine and not their incredibly good fucking drummer. But I remember, I think it was over at a buddy's house and we were drinking and that came up on like, it was one that, remember like Cable had the music channels? It was like, oh, I want the metal channel. And it was playing, and it came up and I was like, I don't have this song. What the fuck is this? And I just listened to it. I was like, holy shit, this just kicks ass. And yeah, then I heard Obzen was coming out. I was like, well, I know I'm buying that. Like, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's such a killer album. Another one I really like too is Chaos Sphere. That's actually the first Meshuggah album I ever heard way back in '99.
It's either that or Destroy, Erase, Improve for me. I can't remember which one. I might have bought them both at the same time. I remember I didn't like it at first because I hadn't heard anyone do like syncopation like that. So it was confusing. Like I don't know where to bang my head. And
I'm just kind of like, I was kind of the same way when I first heard Chaos Sphere. I'm like, wow, this is freaking weird sounding. Like it's real heavy.
Yeah, like Sane. Sane has that weird off-time beat, and like where do I come in at?
The off beats threw me off at first. I'm like, whoa, this is very different.
I think it was the songs like Corridor Chameleons and New Millennium Cyanide Christ. When I heard those, like, okay, I can follow that. And then I could start listening. Like, now that I found the rhythm, I was like, ooh, that guitar tone's fucking nasty. What the hell are these guys doing? Even the cadences are odd.
Right.
And because of Tool, I got to see them live back when no one fucking knew who the fuck they were outside of fucking metalheads that were looking for weird music.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, actually, Sweden. Might as well talk about In Flames.
Oh man, I was just gonna mention In Flames.
Oh, dude, it's such a good album.
It is.
I mean, Just Erase and Oracle are way up there for me too. God, they were so good. And then I just brought up Siren Charms and that terrible albums. That's where I completely lost faith, even though I bought fucking Battles like an idiot. Hopeful.
Freaking Item Mask.
Oh man.
Yeah, that one. They went from like Innovators to
the only oldest album
Followers.
Is Clayman, and just hearing Item Mask and Clayman or something separately or something like that, I'm like, wow. And then Item Mask is kind of getting back. Not really.
I heard a couple of tracks. There was one single from Behind the Mask I heard. I was like, what the fuck is this? Is this Imagine Dragons? Give me a fucking break.
Oh, it was terrible.
Voices, the title track.
They did a video for it. I remember hating it.
Might be on me. No, I Am Above was one of the singles. What was it?
I know there was a video.
Call My Name was the other single.
That might be it. I was pretty sure I wasn't going to get it. Like I said, In Flames. The ultimate insult is when they re-recorded tracks from fucking Clayman and that shitty.
Yeah.
They took away like everything crunchy about those guitars and this fucking deep turted tone, that muddy, almost new metal tone. It's like, dude, these melodies are not going to carry through here. Plus, you have this sort of flat, raspy singing that Anders does now. It's like, dude, you stop it. Don't leave it alone. You fucked it up.
Yeah, I did listen to those on YouTube when they came out. I'm like, this is terrible. He took a great album and ruined it. Yeah. I mean, to me, the drums are way too loud on it. The production just sounds very muddy. Dull.
Yeah.
Yeah, muddy too, yeah. You
I
can't really hear bass. I couldn't hear bass really either. Not that it really matters. I'm not like...
Yeah, well, because the guitars are so down-tuned and muddy, that tone kind of just bleeds into the bass tone now. So it just becomes kind of a wall, which, hey, if you're a sludge metal band, that's okay. That kind of works for what you're doing. You're not. You still have the name In Flames, even though I don't think you're really In Flames anymore. There's not a single original member in that band anymore, so.
No. Nope, none.
But they're not parting with the name. And
they're
just...
What? Well, I think Jesper's the one that actually started In Flames.
Yep.
Yeah, he was, because when In Flames started, they were just I think they were just a session band, I want to say.
I believe so.
Would you count?
I think so. I know.
Because he has been in the band the longest.
Anders joined. Well, they did essentially a switch because Michael Stahn,
yeah.
He was in Flames, and Anders was in Dark Tranquility, and they just sort of changed over. And I want to say Michael was actually playing bass too in Flames as well. But
I think he might be great.
I think Dark Tranquility went out in that trade. But they just flipped members, and I guess that's Anders is the next longest tenured one, and then Bjorn Gillette didn't come in until Horacle, and I think he was playing drums on that album. I believe that's right.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and there was a lot of turnover.
Bjorn would be on guitars and Clayman.
Yeah, I think that's where he joined in on guitars, because they had a different guitarist on Colony.
Yeah,
I think that's the dude that rejoined. I don't know.
I think you're right.
In Flames, we used to trust. Man.
I don't know. To me, they haven't put out anything good since Clayman.
I mean, honestly, I didn't mind. I still like Reroute to Remain. It's not as good as, like, I would say Clayman or anything before that, but I thought it was still good. It's just I didn't like the muddier production. And they did, at least when they did, like, single songs on there, they were still heavy. Right. Soundtrack was okay. It just felt like the single songs that were on Reroute. And, Come Clarity I thought was pretty good. Like, it was definitely more aggressive, but it still had poppy songs on it. And then Sense of Purpose hit, and I was like, oh, here we go. This is about to suck.
Oh, yes.
And then
what's that other one? Silence from the Underground Playground.
Yeah, sounds from a playground fading, or most people call it sounds from a playground failing.
Yeah, I remember when that album came out back in 2011. They were trying to build it up. They were trying to build that album up like they were going back to their old melodic death metal sound, and it's like, no, it don't sound like that.
Oh, I mean, well, the PR company did just good enough of a job to rope me in that bullshit. I was like, oh, get it. And then I got it. I was like, man, fuck.
Well, another thing I could never stand about that band was Anders' clean vocals. I cannot stand his clean
Yeah,
vocals.
sounds of a playground fading. I happen to still have the disc.
I have it. It's in the other room. I bought a lot of In Flames. I was very hopeful. But yeah, no, his clean vocals, they kind of had that new metal whine to it.
That's
I don't know, like I felt like he heard Jonathan Davis sing a couple of times like that. That's what I want to do. It was like, why, Anders?
well, even that Jonathan Davis looked there for a while with the dreadlocks.
Yeah. I mean, I think, does he still have them? He just wears the hat now, or?
I think he cut his hair.
I mean, I remember the dreadlock look. I'm trying to think of other bands that. Well, I mean, I suppose you could bring them up, even though I don't know what the hell they're doing these days. Job for a Cowboy. These guys started off as the deathcore fucking meme band. Job for a SpongeBob. Got signed based on that, and then just put out death metal albums, and pretty much alienated the fan base.
Yeah, because their last album had more of a just straight up death metal sound.
Dude, that Sun Eater is underrated as fuck. They got a solid lineup on there. They got Danny Walker on drums. I forget who the guitarist they had in there, but like the whole lineup was just super talented. It was just really good technical death metal, and yeah, I mean, honestly, their other releases I thought were pretty good. Everyone was like, "Oh, they're a deathcore band." I was like, no, they were. They pretty much just said, "Nah, we'd rather do death metal," and good on them.
Right.
But
that's a pretty good album. Which one is
that one?
Ruination.
Yep, I have that one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's with the opening track's pretty badass, and that one was it Unfurling a Darkened Gospel, which I really like John Davies' vocals. That dude has a really cool vocal range. Good highs, good lows.
Right.
Oh God, what other?
Here we go. We just talked about these guys a little bit earlier. Scorpions.
Lonesome Crow.
I actually prefer the earlier stuff. Like I have Lonesome Crow and Taken by Force. Fucking awesome album.
That's one of my favorite albums.
Dude, Sales of Charon, whatever it is. I love that song.
An excellent track.
And was it She's a Man, He's a Woman? See that?
Oh, he's a woman, she's a man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great fucking song.
Yeah, it's
and,
like
Blackout's good. It was right around Blackout that that's where they started to get really popular. Like their earlier stuff, I think, is really underrated.
I agree. I would say he's a woman.
Salvation Army of all places.
Well, I mean, dude, I keep hearing I got a buddy who I've rented through the channel and says, hey, every now and then go check out stuff at Goodwill. You'd be surprised what people just toss aside. It's like, I might have to do that. Like, I mean, I was kind of shocked. Yesterday, I went to all the way to Youngstown, Ohio from Toledo. That's a fucking haul. For a show called The Blackout Cookout. It was in a bowling alley. They literally removed a whole section of lanes and built the stage. Really good lighting rig, too. And had a show there. It also had a record shop in the bowling alley. And these guys had a whole bunch of vintage shit. Like, I saw a first print of Under the Influence by Overkill. A first print of Rain and Blood. First print, or I think possibly the only print. I don't know if they ever printed more, but of the Jump on the Fire single with the big demon on the cover.
I think probably in the Kill 'Em All box set. I mean, I know that's a repressing, but as far as actually actually repressing it, I'm not completely.
It looked pretty old. They had Live Undead on picture disc.
Oh, nice.
I want to say they had some Crumbsuckers. They had a first print of Nuclear Assault Survive on vinyl. I was like,
oh, okay.
I mean, if I actually collected vinyl, I would have spent a lot of fucking money. But yeah, it was just kind of
take much.
Yeah, it was just weird to actually see that. So I mean, like there's unsuspecting places to go check out and look for music occasionally. I know my antique store down the street from me occasionally has stuff. Most of it's on vinyl, but hoping one day someone will just dump off a whole bunch of metal CDs and I'll swoop in there and get them.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Something that happened.
Oh, what other bands have changed around their sound a lot?
But yeah, the Scorpions were very different.
Go ahead.
On Lonesome Crow, they have almost like a psychedelic krautrock type of sound to them.
I called it Jazzy Black Sabbath because, I mean, honestly, that is really what it feels like.
I think it's an underrated album, to be honest, because every time I see people talk about it, they rank it pretty low. I mean, I guess I understand that if you're a fan of the 80s stuff, but like me, I prefer the 70s stuff too.
It's like it's a production thing. It's the kind of riffs and melodies they were doing. Like I like the stuff that might be like closer to Thin Lizzy than stuff that kind of blended in with all the shit like Motley Crue and shit. Like I like Motley Crue, but yeah, I know I prefer that older stuff. That older stuff just sounds better to me. But I mean, it's all preference.
Like I guess that's another band you could kind of throw in there, Motley Crue. Their sounds changed a bit, quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
because I think Too Fast for Love is probably more what's the word I'm looking for?
Raw,
kind of punky, a little punky sounding, like kind of like glam punk, if that makes sense, like New York, like the New York Dolls or something.
Actually, no, that does make sense. Yeah. No, I definitely hear that. I mean, I was always a Shout at the Devil fan.
Me too. That's cool. My favorite album. But to me, Shout at the Devil, it's a pure heavy metal album.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
the riff alone on Looks the Kill, dude, if that doesn't get stuck in your head, it's a great fucking song. Oh, God.
Yeah, I'll still listen to that album. Man. But like after that, they just went a totally... Well, obviously more commercial.
Oh yeah, I mean, Theater of Pain. They even softened up all the imagery and everything. And, more ballads.
Now, an album of theirs I do like is their 1994 album they did without Vince Neil, the one they did with John Corabi.
I've never actually listened to that one. I know it exists. I think by the time I knew it existed, Generation Swine was coming out, and I heard like one track, and like, fuck no.
Yeah, I think it's a really good. I mean, I think they went a heavier direction on that album. It's definitely heavier.
Corabi's a good singer. I mean, honestly, he's a better singer than Vince Neil.
I mean,
a lot of people are better singers than Vince. Well, especially now.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Shit. Gojira. I think Gojira has definitely changed around their sound. Like, you go back to the earlier stuff, they sound more like Morbid Angel. And then now
that's true.
Like progressive, like syncopated groove metal. I don't know. It's whatever Gojira does. It's definitely different than the earlier stuff. It's tamer, but still really good.
Right.
God, what other one?
Oh, here's
what we got.
Therion.
Dude,
their first album
is so fucking good. And then, well, I hear their second album's pretty good. I haven't got it, but dude, I don't like the symphonic opera thing they do now. But dude, that first album is just a fucking banger.
Right. It's an excellent death metal album.
Underrated is speaking of which, in kind of the same vein, Dark Throne.
Soulside
Journey. Soulside Journey is, I think, an underrated death metal album in general. It's super well written. And then, of course, everything after, like, well, no, we're black metal because we're Norwegian. I guess we have to be. But, I mean, I still think Blaze of the Northern Sky is their best album, but Soulside's damn good. And honestly, it just seems like it gets ignored way too much.
I agree. It's a really good death metal album, I think.
Solid riffs, really good atmosphere. I mean, I think they had, was it Uffe Sederlund? Well, one of the guitarists from Entombed, he was the one that helped them out with like mixing, getting a guitar tone and stuff. I believe that's the story. I think it was him that was in there. But yeah, I mean, they had top-notch help, and they were definitely obsessed with the whole Swedish sound at that point too.
I had one in mind. What about Trivia?
I mean, I would say they have. They've changed. I don't know, like, how drastically, because, I mean, I think I could still recognize Trivium's core sound, but I think they've definitely grown as a band. Like, there's more elements at work, because before they were kind of like, you know, like, we're like thrashy metalcore. There's still that, but you get elements of death metal, progressive metal, groove metal now. I mean,
you say progressive metal and Trivium, what springs to mind is Shogun.
Yeah, Shogun's a good album. I do like that.
That's a really good album.
I heard one song in there, I'm like, I should listen to the whole thing. Maybe get it one day. I need to get a good chunk of Trivium's album. And my phone isn't really that big because I've been wanting to get physically Silence in the Snow, The Sin in the Set for damn sure. And
I don't have those.
And obviously this new one. Like,
I don't have those. I whatever was it something Vengeance or some bullshit. The one that David Draymond produced.
Vengeance Falls.
There it is.
I have that. I was like, it's okay, but comparing it to In Waves, it wasn't freaking meh. And I have it, and I guess I have it the whole In Waves finally.
But I picked up the most recent one. I liked a good chunk of it. I just didn't like the more radio nugget stuff. Whatever the hell the big single was off the newest one. But
okay, yeah.
Feast of Flame or Feast and I don't know, something like that.
Feast on Fire from the one.
Something like that.
Yeah, I've never been the biggest fan of their more radio sounding stuff.
There's Vengeance Falls.
Yeah, mine's on my CD shelf collecting dust because I listened to it once. I was like, man, fuck. and David Draymond's production was just so fucking bland and dry. I was like, wow, you made him sound like the street.
I think to myself,
pretty
outside
much.
of maybe a few songs, maybe the beginning ones, it's the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think there was still kind of part of Trivium that was kind of hoping to, like, you know, get some radio play. Now I think, honestly, I think there is still occasionally that, but mostly I think Heafy and Corey kind of just write for themselves. And they're awesome guitarists, both of them.
Oh, definitely.
They have the chops, and they show it off.
They get freaking Alex Bell, like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah, they can really play.
Like, holy fuck, just hearing his drumming off with the title track of The Sin in the Sentence was like, holy fucking shit.
Oh, is that I'm the new? Well, I don't know how
No,
long
that's
that
the
drummer's been there.
2017 one.
When I saw him with
hearing him doing what he was doing in the title track for "In the Court of the Dragon," oh my god, he's still a good drummer.
When I saw him live, dude, their drummer actually the way he was playing, like using the cymbal accents and everything, he just reminded me a lot of Gene Hoglan, and that's a good person to remind me of.
Oh yeah,
definitely. He's a bad mamma jamma.
Oh yeah, one of the greatest drummers.
Dude, I mean,
easily top 5 best drummers in metal.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think I had at one point Dark Roots of Earth when he was with Testament, and then I think Death Album 3 with Death Clocks. Like,
oh, dude, I pretty much I have just projects that I bought just because, well, they got Gene Hoglan, so I'm already interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one. Amorphous.
Dude, I love that album. I like what they do now, but Brilliant Isthmus. I mean, actually, bring up Sentenced debut album versus
very true.
Literally everything else. The goth rock thing or Catatonia.
That's very true too. Those bands all started out playing death metal for the most part.
Yeah, that big kind of melodic death doomy sort of sound. But yeah, vastly different from where they went. I mean, almost sound like a completely different band.
Yeah, right. Well, here's what I don't know. I didn't know if I want to mention it, but Slipknot. They kind of.
I mean, they have.
The early stuff was very aggressive, and then they got the Volume 3 and stuff.
I think once they got like a bit of a taste of like some singles, well, plus Iowa was a tremendous success in terms of sales and such. I was like, well, let's see if we can actually get like, because they didn't really get like singles out of that. They had songs that were, accessible and popular with metalheads.
I think what is
My Plague and Left Behind.
Yeah, Left Behind. Those were music. Those were made into music videos. But then you got songs on here like "People Equal Shit." I absolutely love Gently. It's one of my favorites on this album.
Yeah, no, Gently's a banger.
Love
it's a creepy fucking song. But yeah, like once they got in with Rick Rubin on Volume 3, they wrote some singles. I mean, honestly, they were pretty decent singles. I'll give them that.
Well, Before I Forget it was pretty damn great. But then I think easily for me the worst one, freaking, and it's all cracked as shit, and I still have the case to it. All those bodies.
I don't mind that one either. I mean, honestly, Slipknot was the last album was probably the only one I was like, maybe not this one.
Yeah, you're not missing anything outside. Maybe some of the singles for me, they were just it was.
Oh no, I bought it, so I didn't miss it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, we reviewed it, and was like, well, fuck it. Ooh, all right, here we go. Entombed.
No, that's
yeah, Entombed.
Yeah, they definitely changed their sound.
Dude, well, I mean, they changed their sound like multiple times too. It was just kind of interesting. But those first two albums versus like Wolverine Blues and what is it? To Ride Straight something and Speak the Truth. Wow, god damn it.
Oh fuck, I forget the name of it too.
I'm just gonna look. My brain doesn't wanna. Oh,
you were mentioning about Volbeat. I do have one.
To Ride, Shoot Straight, and Speak the Truth.
Yeah.
I do have one Volbeat album.
I have that one. That was
the first one. Rob, after he left Anthrax.
Yep, Rob. He was in Anthrax.
Oh, Volbeat. Yeah, I was just talking about them earlier.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to check out that if I can find a copy of that, like just hunting down CDs and shit. I will definitely pick it up. Robert Fulton's.
Show that to Ryan.
Yeah, that is technically Volbeat. Technically.
Yep. Yeah. It's Volbeat before.
Something like this.
Or when they were death metal.
What was the name of it? Hold on, I'm gonna go grab one because I think it's very interesting.
All right. So. Look at the chat for a minute. Oh, we got Speed King here. What's up, brother? If you're still here. Looks like we only have one person watching, dude. Come on, man. This is an interesting topic.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Shit. Don't pull up. 4. Oh, great.
Oh yeah, by the way, this is also streaming over on Twitch.
Oh, great, we're on.
So
Over there.
I'm gonna take a restroom break quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is basically
I don't think I can find anything in here.
this is basically intermission right now, and we will be back.
Yeah.
Shit, where are you? Oh. No, that's not. Ooh. Let's see here.
Oh, welcome back.
Yeah, I'm just back for a second. Too many death metal bands again with DE, and I got to remember the name of this one. There it is. One sec.
I don't know if they. I'll wait for you. Back over here.
There it is.
I don't know if they drastically changed their sound, but I am holding since I went and got a record store. Children of Bodom.
Kinda. I mean, I think they had like kind of like just they had pretty much a steady bass sound, but I think it did get more accessible. But I don't think they had made like a drastic change. So yeah, more of an underground release here. And one day, probably do a retro review for this band. Band called Desecrator, UK death metal act in the 90s. Only full length they put out. And not too long after this band broke up.
Wow.
And then became this band, Consumed, which is a essentially pop punk band. So
I've never heard this.
yeah, same guys. They just changed the name and changed the style, and yeah, I found that out when I fucking picked this up because I jammed it on YouTube forever ago. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I'll check it out. You know, old school '90s death metal, and yeah, they turned into a pop punk band. So I would say that's pretty drastic. Pretty damn unreasonable too. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge change there compared to playing brutal death metal.
Yeah, that's some early Seagrave artwork too. Some back when he was doing more like biomech stuff.
Right. Speaking of a couple other bands, yeah, they pretty much started out black metal or black death metal. Samael.
Yep.
And Tiamat.
Yeah, actually, yeah, giant changes. I own a good chunk. I have from Samael. I have Ceremony of Opposites, which is solid, like groovy black metal album, and then I also got the stuff where they kind of changed more to, I guess, industrial metal.
Yeah.
That seems accurate.
Yeah, I would say pretty much industrial gothic metal.
I was thinking because of his whole career, Eson.
Yeah, I mean, Eson still has like some black metal.
I don't know what his freaking solo stuff is.
His solo stuff's amazing. He's just doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and
it's definitely more progressive sounding.
Love that
So
album. I think that's the one that actually has Matt Heafy on it. And Devin
which one is it?
Eson's
Brian.
Arctis.
Oh.
Show that again, man.
Arctis.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
That's I think that's what his second full length.
I've heard about it, but I've never actually listened to it.
Yeah, check out Eson's solo work. Eson's solo work is incredible. Like you really get
awesome.
a huge appreciation for like how good of a musician he really is.
I bought the EP he put out. I know he put out 2 EPs.
Or Pharaohs.
I bought the mellow or the more melodic one out of the 2. I forget what the hell it's called.
Oh, is it the one with the the lamp?
The tower.
Like,
the tower.
Tower? Dude, that's
yeah,
good.
I'd have to listen to it again. I wasn't really into it on the first time I listened to it. It's probably one I'm gonna have to take back out and try to listen to it again.
It's good. The cover they did of Manhattan Skyline with
That's
dude.
one, yeah.
Yeah, the dude from Leprous, that dude's range is ridiculous. I don't get how he can sing like that. But
I might actually, I guess I'll give that one another chance. When I first, like I said, when I first listened to it, I wasn't really into it.
I don't know if that's.
I guess it's one of them.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that if you were thinking, oh, Isan, dude from Emperor, you probably I would say some of the earlier stuff.
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't really thinking like it would be full on black metal because I've heard some of his, solo stuff and know he has done more progressive stuff too. I guess I wasn't. Yeah, I guess I wasn't expecting it to be as melodic as it was, because it's definitely melodic.
I mean, well, I don't think he growled once on there, which honestly, I've never been a huge fan of his harsh vocals. But
now he's got a great melodic voice.
Yeah, he croons really well. But
right,
I mean, when it came down to his songwriting, that's why Emperor, I think, is like a top tier black metal band.
Oh,
incredible
definitely.
Songwriting. Like they separated them from a lot of the black metal that was coming out. It's like, yeah, these guys are good over here, a little bit more raw. These guys can fucking write.
Well, they're actually my favorite black metal band. Emperor is.
God,
I just love the musicianship in Emperor.
I mean, I get it. I did Anthems, The Welkin at Dusk.
Yeah.
Night Set Eclipse is where I started, and fuck.
Like, I freaking... man, it's very hard for me to rank those albums when I rank them.
Eventually, we're going to do that one, because I want to do that one. I also want to do Enslaved. There you go. There's another band that...
They've changed quite a bit, too, over the years.
Honestly, I don't think they've ever released a bad album regardless of their style, though.
I don't think either.
Because I think Frost is excellent for what it is, and Eld is also amazing.
Oh, Eld's my favorite.
Oh, see, I love all the proggy shit, though. The proggy shit here lately, like...
The proggy stuff is good, though, yeah.
They really... There's no one out there that sounds like them. Like, that is... I don't think there's a legit, like, Enslaved clone out there.
What's that one album? Below the Lights or Below the Lights? Below the Lights, yeah.
That was probably the first one I picked up because I heard one song. I think, was it Fire Swept Through the Valley?
Yeah.
I think that was the song. It was on a compilation. I was like, holy shit, this is really good. And I bought the album. But Axioma, Ethica, Odini, I absolutely love that album too. I love their newest one, Utgard, however you say it.
Oh, yeah.
Not as heavy as their, like earlier stuff, but it's still really good. Rune, I think Rune is really good too.
Rune is good too, yep.
The title track's one of my favorite Enslaved songs.
Yeah, the first Enslaved album I bought was, if I'm pronouncing it right, Modron. I don't know how to fuck it's their 2000. Not Monumentum. Fuck, I don't know where my CD is. It was their 2000 release. Oh.
Let's see, hold on 1 second here.
I think it's Modron.
Let's see. Yeah, no, 2001 was Monumention.
Yeah, there was an album before that.
Try to see what was before that.
I don't know what I did with my CD either.
Eld was 90. Blood? No, wait, Bloodhound's a reissue. Or that's technically an EP, isn't it?
I think.
Maybe I'm missing one.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a band that has changed their sound drastically, but I mean, I suppose you can make the argument. I think they got even better.
Right. Definitely.
But again, I like that old school Viking fucking black metal. It's fucking awesome.
Right. Yeah, they're definitely a band that's gotten better.
I've seen them like 5 or 6 times, and every time I've seen them, it's just a jaw-dropping performance.
Yeah, that's a band I would definitely love to see live.
They're so damn good. Like, I got to see them, like, and they tour with a lot of different bands too, which is awesome. Like, first time I saw them with was it Royal Thunder, which is like a stoner kind of doom band with a really, really good female vocalist. Like, she was doing like that cool raspy Janis Joplin thing. It was like, fuck yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And then Pallbearer was the other opener too. And Pallbearer will fucking melt your face with the fucking tone of their guitars.
Yeah, that's another band I gotta really check out too.
They're so good. They're so sad. All the lyrics are just super, super sad, but they're really fucking good. Are
they funeral death? Are they funeral doom?
Stoner doom. I'd say it's
stoner doom. When you said the word sad, I'm instantly think funeral doom.
All their shit's just kind of weepy. It doesn't have like the funeral dirge feel. It has like that more warm, fuzzy sort of like sleep, except sad sleep.
Oh, right. I found the Enslaved album I was trying to talk about.
Which one was it?
Okay, I was kind of right about the first part, but Moderum, Beyond the Within.
Beyond the Within. I don't know if I have that one.
Yeah, it came out in 2000. That was the first one I ever bought.
I don't know if I have that one.
Oh, it's a good one. That's probably the album where they started going more progressive.
Yeah, I mean, when they hit the progressive thing, man, they hit just feet, running.
Right.
Oh, what other bands here have changed around their sound? Well, I mean,
Pantera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, holy shit! Wow. I don't think I've rarely ever seen physical copies of that album. That album cover is so bad.
It is bad. I mean, it's a rather.
What album?
Oh, dude, hold it up again, man. This
Pantera Metal Magic.
Oh yeah, those days, the early days,
Terry
before Cowboys, the pre-Cowboys.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess back then they called it budget metal. Back in the early because of the raw production.
I mean, hell, dude.
Cheesy album covers.
I'm trying to save this. I'm trying to see if this freaking flashlight will work. It failed miserably. And I'm still trying to think of who else I got in here to change their sound. This might be unpopular, but I'm Disturbed. Like, they changed drastically a little bit.
They went from one turd to another.
Yeah. This is kind of cool. It's got some moments, but
it's got dropping plates. What the fuck is that? I don't even know he's dropping what plates. What are you in a fight in the house? He's just throwing them. I never understood that song. Like, why is dropping plates supposed to be some hard edge fucking thing? Why? What the fuck?
I don't think I've listened to that album since the year 2000.
It's been a minute. I sold all my copy. I guess this would be a recent one, and for people that are fans of them, Death Heaven. Death Heaven's the last one they did.
Oh!
Yeah, that new one, they stripped out almost every bit of black metal.
Oh, it's on here! Oh, yeah, it is on here! Dropping Bullets, track 11.
What?
Yeah, I happen to have it on physical.
No, I actually got my copy. I could get a whole quarter for it if I Trade it in.
Nah.
Hey,
You're
Ryan,
good. Yeah.
is there a way you could turn your volume down just a
Yeah,
little bit?
Yeah,
You're like
super,
way
super
loud.
man.
Yeah, sure. Let me see if that'll work. Okay, how's that work?
It's still very loud.
Still loud? How is it still loud? How is it still freaking loud?
Is there like a control like knob on the cable?
No, it's just like that's what it looks like.
All right. Is there a volume control on that at all, or
no? Other than this thing that
I know there's a volume control on the StreamYard app.
Yeah, but I got volume on here or something like that. But got volume on my phone or something, but I don't know. I just put these on because I was getting sick and tired of the crackling noises I keep hearing whenever I don't have the earphones on or something.
Yeah, well, your mic is super, super loud.
Yeah, that thing is brutally loud.
It's like being in the room with someone who's just yelling into a bullhorn.
Right.
Let me see. Fuck it. I don't know how to freaking make this work or something like that. Well, let me try to say. I'll come back in here real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Man, that thing was crispy.
All right.
No, it was crackling.
Yeah, it's like really distorted. Let's see. Well, another one I kind of. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Soilwork. Technically, I guess they're a bit different, but they're still like the melodic death doom. I know, like when we reviewed their last EP.
Okay, is this a little better?
Oh, that's better.
Oh yeah, that's way better, bro.
Yeah,
much better.
They wouldn't let me post a review for Soilwork in a melodic death metal group and say, no, we don't consider melodic death metal anymore. Like, okay.
Yeah. I've been wanting to get that. I've been actually wanting to get that newest EP. I thought I did hear that. What track was it? The one track on there that's like super long.
Oh,
yeah,
Wisp of the Atlantic. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's a really cool track. I'm like, wow, that's really different for Soilwork.
First epic they've ever done.
I mean, they're kind of growing as a band. Like, Speed's the only guy that's an original member now, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I know when they first started out, they had more of a kind of like a I want to say an At the Gates type of sound.
Yep.
Like on Steelbat Suicide and
dude, Steelbat's fucking heavy album and Chain Heart Machine.
Yeah, those two albums had more of that At the Gates sound. Then on their third album, they kind of changed a little bit and slowed down a little bit.
I do love Natural Born Chaos, though. That is a really, really good album. There was a little bit more, I don't want to call it industrial. It was just like a little bit more synths on there, and you started hearing Speed start using his clean vocals very effectively, too. That dude is a solid singer.
Oh, he's a great vocalist. He sounded great live, too, when I saw them back in 2005 in Ozfest.
I saw him on that tour. Seen him open up for Fear Factory and saw him open up for Lamb of God once. Killed it every time. Like, that dude has the on and off switch for that is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think aside from the newest EP, Living Infinite, Berg, I don't know how you pronounce it.
It's Swedish. It's a confusing. Verglaten?
Yeah, that.
Verglaten? I don't know. I was gonna say Corrosion Conformity. There you go.
Oh yeah, they definitely changed big time.
That one,
because they started out playing like crossover punk.
Dude, Animosity fucking rips. I love that album. And Eye for an Eye is essentially just a hardcore punk album. There's really not a lot of thrash to it at all. But
it's
then
kind of weird, man. Out of all their albums, like Animosity, that's the one I still do not have in my collection. I can never find a copy of it.
I don't know if they've reissued it. I don't even know who owns the rights to that one. I still have, excuse me, my copy from forever ago.
I think it's. I could be wrong on this. I think it's originally released on Metal Blade Records.
I think so. I don't know. See, Metal Blade's usually good about reissues too.
Right. That one, I can never find it anywhere. I guess it's one I'm going to have to eventually order online.
I don't think who else. Ooh, Whitechapel?
Yep, it's my...
Yeah, they changed quite a bit. Oh, nice.
I just mentioned Whitechapel.
Whitechapel, dude, all right. That new album, I'm going to review it, but I don't know, man. The last single, Orphan, you could have put that on and I would have never guessed.
Doing clean vocals I didn't know they've been doing clean vocals, so hearing them for the first time, because this is the first time I've heard I'm interested in a Whitechapel album since their self-titled almost a decade ago.
The Valley was good.
I knew they kind of, on the self-titled, I knew they kind of had a little bit, like I think on I Dementia or something like that, and they had some, but it wasn't like full-on clean vocals. But then hearing a little bit of Lost Boy having cleans, I'm like,
the Valley definitely
Orphan. I was like,
a lot more.
what?
This one, yeah, when I heard Orphan, I was like, dude, if this was a blind taste test, there's no way in hell you could convince me that was fucking Whitechapel. It sounds like a different band. And Phil Bozeman kind of sounds like Maynard James Keenan when he sings.
I kind of like him. I
think he's good. I think he showed off the fact that he's a hell of a growler. Like he has that down to a science. Like he gets those ultra low burps, but he also maintains clarity.
Yeah, the single before that, Blood Soaked Symphony, I was like, oh, that's traditional Whitechapel. Like you clearly tell that sounds like Whitechapel. But then you come from the Orphan, I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's
surprise for me because
it's one of those things. Like I think they they already did like all the deathcore shit.
Yeah,
so they want to branch out a little bit, still find ways to incorporate their old sound.
Yeah, it's always nice to change things up. Sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad. And when I think of deathcore that incorporates clean vocals that is bad, I think Suicide Silence self-titled. Yeah, pretty much.
Well, here you go. Actually, I'm reasonably sure you brought this up at one point in a video, Ben. Convulsa's first album, World Without God. I don't know if it was it you?
I don't think it was me.
Their debut, they were a Finnish death metal act, and then they kind of went into like weird prog and sludge metal after that. I think that's their only legit death metal release, and they completely just shifted. And it's up there with Sentenced and fucking Amorphous in terms of like that Finnish death metal sound. But right. Yeah, completely abandoned it.
Man, that's weird.
Here, hold on.
I kind of remember talking about that band before.
Where are you? Yeah. There we go.
Might have did it on one of the older streams. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, incredible album. This is the Relapse reissue of it from whenever it came out. I got it forever ago, and I had some of their later stuff, and the guy that ran the record store was like, "No, this is the early death metal stuff. You'll probably love it," and he was right. It's top tier Finnish death metal.
Sweet. What about Hypocrisy?
They did go through some change. Those first two albums are straight death metal. Like there's no melodic death metal at all. They're really good.
Like their debut album Penetralia is like straight up brutal death metal. And their second album,
Osculum
Gatherum,
something like that.
Yeah,
Osculum. Something like that. ridiculous words. Yeah, that album, I think that one's even better than Penetralia. That one's just raw and filthy, but after that you get like their straight more melodic death metal sound, which they always did melodic death metal really heavy though.
Right, that's very true.
That was the thing I liked about Hypocrisy is like, this isn't super sing-songy. This is still heavier than hell when it needs to be. It just has good melodies, and Peter's a fucking remarkable musician and producer too, so that dude knew what he was doing. He still knows what he's doing. I'm looking forward to that new Hypocrisy. The singles have been really good. Yeah.
That comes out next month. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's gonna be like their first. It's gonna be their first album in quite a while too, under the Hypocrisy banner. It's been a while.
It has definitely been a while. I'm trying to think. It was
because he put out a couple of Pain albums in between.
I think there's still another one coming out too. I think he
I didn't hear about that.
Like John and I, Jam and John, we were talking about, was like, dude, this whole COVID, everyone being shut in, I think we're going to hear a lot of fucking albums just because, like, dude, what else can we do? Let's file share. Let's fucking write. We can't tour. We can sell our shit online, but, kind of touring on it usually helps with that whole process. So I think a lot of bands just sat down and fucking wrote albums, and this whole thing probably inspired them. It was like, holy shit, there's a fucking virus fucking up literally everything. Right. There's a story. I mean, I know that's in some of the Hypocrisy stuff. And of course, aliens. There has to be aliens because it's a Hypocrisy release. But yeah, I'm curious, like, because I've heard some really inspired albums. Like, I'm legit. This is gonna be a hard one to come up with a year-end list for. Like, 40 I thought was a reasonable number. I don't want to extend it to fucking 50 because there's too many.
10, but I'm waiting on one that can potentially. Right now, at the moment, the new Dream Theater album is literally top of my list.
I haven't even listened to it yet. I'm waiting till I buy it.
It's good. The only song I really didn't like was Invisible Monsters. I think that
I loved it. I listened to them like,
I'm hearing.
Oh, wow, this is them. They're coming back. I was like, thank God they came back in just the album as a whole.
Yeah.
But there's only one album for me that I'm waiting that I know can potentially beat Dream Theater, and that is Debbie's album.
Well, I think that got pushed back till next year.
December.
Like, he might release
December
pieces.
3rd.
It's not coming out now.
I'm like,
I think I heard it. Well, the two EPs, was it Snuggles and
it's a double album. It's a legit double album from what I
see. I heard those were just companion pieces to the album that's coming out.
They're completely separate things. Lightwork is a traditional Debbie album.
Okay. Well, there's nothing traditional about what he does.
I remember him saying when he was saying it's delayed till December. He said that it's the best work he's ever done, and I'm like, he has been for albums like all my lists. Usually, all of his albums have been so damn close to being number one.
Oh, Empath was
other albums just came and beat it out.
Empath was, dude. That was like literally an artist bearing his fucking soul. Like, he let you know everything that was going on in his head and wrote some insanely cool shit. That was probably the only thing that I've thoroughly enjoyed that much. That had Chad Kroeger was on that album. He was on that album, buried in the mix, just doing vocals, but he was still on it, and I loved it.
It's a great album.
It is.
It's a great album, and it.
Especially that 23-minute long epic. Holy fuck.
Empath would have been number one. Empath would have been number one.
Dude. Well, he had Steve Vai on there, too. I mean, that's his little buddy, too. I mean, yeah.
Maybe I should really think about that.
That's how he got his start, too.
Yep. He did the Love, Sex, and Violence. Is that it? Or Religion and Violence? Or
I think it's Sex and Religion.
There we go. I was fucking it up.
Oh, God. That came out in like 90... I think 92, 93.
Yeah, it was after that he did Strapping on Lead because...
It's freaking weird, man.
Good.
I was really curious. this was quite a while ago. I was doing research. I was really curious if there was like really old Devin Townsend interviews on YouTube. And here I found one of him on the Conan O'Brien show.
Wow.
Back when he was with Steve Vai for the album Sex and Religion. Yeah.
That's old.
Yep. It's on YouTube. It's really weird to watch.
I never thought I would see the day that Devin Townsend was a show with Conan O'Brien of all people.
Yep.
It was pretty cool. I listened to him do like a sit down. He was doing like acoustic stuff and just talking to the audience. Just because he's Debbie. And he talked about the whole like going from nice Debbie to strapping young lad Debbie. And I said, well, it kind of went with the whole sex and religion thing. You know, I was a babe in the woods, you know, like, oh, I'm going to be a rock star and it's going to be amazing. The lights will be glistening and shining. It's going to be great. And then that didn't happen. And I became kind of jaded by the experience because there was a whole bunch of stuff that went on. And, you know, no fault to Steve Vai. He's still one of my dearest friends. But, yeah, it had an impact on me. And I returned to Vancouver pissed off, furious, you know, at myself, at the situations, and how, you know, the fucking veil was just ripped off. And that's where Strapping Young Lad came from. That was just like my unbridled contempt for everything. And
I always love this production.
Dude, the layering he does.
Oh, God.
It's ridiculous. Like, and it's so finely tuned. Like, you know, at any given point, like you hand that to someone else that doesn't know what they're doing, you get mud. He knows how to tweak all that.
Right, and we're talking about Soilworks' Natural Born Chaos earlier, and he produced that album.
I believe so, yeah.
And the production on that album's phenomenal.
I want to say he's just done the vocals on some. But yeah, one of my favorite Darkest Hour albums he did, Undoing Ruin. He gave a metalcore band this big lush sound, and they fucking rolled with it.
Right.
But yeah, like I can almost always pick out his production because it just has like that wall of sound.
Unique.
I think he even did. He worked on an Arion album with the song "Lose." Was his best. Like he was one of the, I think, an angry type of character on an Arion album, The Human Equation.
I mean, he's got the voice to do that sort of thing too. Like,
I clearly.
Like
that came out in 2004, so Strapping Young Lad was still around at that point. Were they Alien at that point?
Wait, no, 94?
No. The Arion album was in 2004.
2004 would have been right before Alien dropped. Alien was 2005.
And then came freaking that.
Yeah, Alien's fucking strange. I love that album though.
I love it too. That's like one of my favorites he did.
It's just throwing insanity at you left and right.
Yeah, that's a fucking insane album. Like, there's one track on there, I forget which track it is now. It starts out with these, like, no, it's not Love. It's I don't have the CD anymore either.
Oh.
It starts out with these Pink Floyd-like melodies, and then it gets, like, super fucking heavy. Oh, crap. I gotta look up the track list.
Oh, my God. It's great Pink Floyd stuff.
Fuck. I know the song, but I can't think of the title of it.
Let me see here.
Yeah, I gotta buy a lot of his stuff again.
Yeah, I freaking. It's embarrassing that the only thing I got of him is Epic Cloud.
That's
the
a great
only one I own. I've been
dude.
wanting to get C2. I've been wanting to get Empath for Christ's sake.
Is
I've been wanting to
Zen?
get Deconstruction and Ghost.
Here.
I'm trying to think.
Hearing freaking Jumar from Deconstruction, like, holy fucking shit. Fun fact,
Okay.
That's where I first heard Isan, because I think Isan was on that track.
Yep. No, he was on Jular.
Yeah. He was just doing the growls and stuff like that, and was like, that's the first time I heard Isan's vocal.
Night Side of
Okay, I figured it out. It's the track 2 Weeks off of Alien. that has that really melodic, spacey Pink Floyd type of vibe. Then it goes into Thalamus. Thalamus, that's the track I'm thinking of. That just sounds really pounding and heavy.
Dude, We Ride. That like, dude, he's just picking like a madman.
Right. God.
I don't know. Shine is one of my favorites on there. Just hearing him hit that high range, like Halford Heights, and then just like turning it into a shriek. It was like, how do your vocal cords do that?
I was gonna say,
holy
man.
fucking shit!
Besides being a great,
he's even more of a genius. Like he's probably the best metal frontman today.
I was gonna say, besides being a great producer
And musician.
I was gonna say, yeah. Besides being a great producer and great musician, he's a great freaking vocalist. Like, his vocal style is just out of this fucking world.
It's, like, I mean, you go see him live, like, I've seen him do the whole, like, he just does and he's just fucking around and hitting every fucking note.
Right.
And he's one of the most likable human beings on the planet. Like, he's a genuinely kind person, very, very smart. You know,
and he's not egotistical either.
No, humble. I would say he's like, completely the opposite. And I mean, there's a guy that his style changes, almost kind of like suits his mood. For a while there, he kind of abandoned anything strapping young lad because he didn't want to go back to that because the emotions associated with it. And I get it, because
from Strapping Young Lad and Devin Townsend Project to going into something like Casualties of Cool, which I found out is like country.
Yeah, kind of alt country.
I was like,
I mean, if you
country album in an age where everything that was dominated by country was the bro country bull crap.
Oh, what do they call it? Sugar Shaker or whatever the fuck they call it.
Whatever the fuck
something like that.
But I'm really intrigued by that, just to hear you. Like, he's done country.
Yeah, why not? I mean, he's done punk. He had a band called Punky Brewster where he made fun of punks.
He's done ambient music.
Yeah.
I think he's even done electronic music.
I mean, Strapping Young Lad had a ton of industrial elements, but that first one, that's all a drum machine. But yeah, like, if you went back and like read the lyrics for some of the songs in like City and stuff, compared like where he's at now, it almost seems like a totally different person. Mentally, maybe. But yeah, like songs like Detox.
Yep.
Ooh, Detox. That whole bridge was like, man, I feel bad for this fucker.
Yeah, especially on the album Alien. I think he was on antidepressants too, and he went off of antidepressants to make that album. I
think that was actually just sort of a made up thing, because he said he in an interview was like, no, I was still on my medication, but it doesn't. Yeah. I was still in like just mentally, I wanted to just push myself, and like I guess that was like an exhausting album for him to do too. Like he pretty much. Yeah, I mean it's easily the most technical out of all the Strapping Young Lad albums. The songwriting is nuts on it. Like, some of those transitions don't make a lick of sense except for in his head.
Right. Yeah, it does sound like an insane man wrote the album.
Dude, the song Shitstorm is literally that.
But it can make a shitstorm and make it sound fantastic.
He had kid choirs in there. Like, legit, like, it wasn't an effect. It's like, no, I need you to sing these dark lyrics. I'm sorry. What are we doing? So this is going to be part of a really weird album. Listen, kids, you'll grow up to appreciate it. I promise. Here you go. Another band drastically, almost always changing their sound. Carcass.
That's very true too. Yep. Started out playing pure grindcore.
Yeah. Those.
I mean, you go from those old school, those first two, which are just basically your old school death metal, and then you go into Obscura, and then from Wisdom to Hate, and then
I still prefer the earlier stuff from Gorguts. Like Erosion of Sanity.
Me too.
Erosion of Sanity is a fucking banger.
And you would think, for me, because I love concept albums, you would think I would have loved Colored Sands and Pilates Dust. But just hearing Pilates Dust, it was just like, what the fuck am I listening to?
I mean, honestly, I get that from fucking Obscura. Like, I know there are people that love that album. It's just kind of distant, fucking technical
Bullshit.
wankery to me.
Yeah, that's just death metal Slayer, basically.
No, I don't know. They I mean,
more technical.
They wanted to push themselves and do something creative, and I think just that wanting to be so different instead of actually writing some songs that really kind of gelled. Like, again, I know Obscura has its fans, you know, the album, the band definitely, but yeah, that Gorguts album, it still doesn't sit with me. I prefer listening to From Wisdom to Hate versus that one.
Wow.
But yeah, Erosion of Sanity is probably my go-to jam from Gorguts. I prefer the earlier stuff, but you know, Colored Sands I thought was pretty cool. I got to see him on tour with Carcass on that one, and Noisem and
I don't know. I was just listening to that. I'm just like, this is like they're trying to be Deathspell Omega, but they did it worse.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
like,
of Deathspell
Omega. I prefer Deathspell Omega stuff. And when Deathspell Omega makes something better, that's like, you got a problem.
Oh, God.
All right, here's one.
Well, here we go. Let's see
what is
you
the
got.
one?
A band everybody knows, and yeah, this band has definitely changed their sound quite a bit. But I pulled out the first Queen album.
Yeah, and the early, almost
much
froggy.
Yeah, much
heavier.
Yeah,
Kind of froggy in some cases, maybe, but then again,
yeah, a bit more froggy.
The album with
like
We Will Rock You and we Are the Champions, and that gets more the
News of the World. News of the World's. That was still more stripped down than that one. That one, they were going for like some big lavish songs. That was cool, and they would do that later.
Yeah,
better. But
like to me, I think the first Queen album's probably their heaviest. Well, between that and Queen 2.
I'd see. I started around Sheer Heart Attack because I think my mom had that one on
I
vinyl.
forgot which album had them like posing like they were in a Bohemian Rhapsody. Which one was that?
Night at the Opera.
No, the album
cover.
The album cover.
Because they reenacted that cover. Is it?
Oh, that was Queen 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were numbered albums. I knew it.
Why couldn't they have Bohemian Rhapsody be on there? Because they have that. And I'm like,
what?
I don't even think it was written yet.
Yeah, it wasn't written yet.
It came out in 74.
Yeah. I think they did that just as like an iconic pose, and you know, honestly, I think it was Freddie Mercury was the one that just knew. It was like, listen, trust me, this album, the song alone is going to blow people away. Just trust me, I know what I'm doing.
But on that first Queen album, from what I noticed, there's some rips on there that definitely would be new wave or would kind of influence the new wave of British heavy metal.
Oh yeah,
even maybe some early thrash metal bands.
Oh yeah, they are from it.
Some of the guitar. Well, I think the guitar tone. Yeah, but I think the guitar tone too is very heavy for its time.
See, I love those proto metal ones. Like, I mean, I guess you could say Blue Oyster Cult's in there, but definitely Thin Lizzy.
Yes.
Fucking Phil and I loved the dual harmonies. Like, that's what he wanted. That was his thing. Yep. Like, I want a 2 guitar attack that is going to be memorable as hell, and I want it to be loud. I want it to be furious, and he got it.
Well, me being a guitar player too, I'm a fan of that stuff too.
Oh, dude! Like I said, Emerald might be one of the greatest classic rock songs ever written.
Oh my god, that's a great track.
It's so fucking good.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess you could say this band's. No, they did change. Bolt Thrower, their earlier stuff, like from, like, In Battle There Is No Law to War Master, definitely one era, and then from like For Victory all the way to the end, that was the more groovy mid-tempo stuff. You know,
yeah, that's true.
A little bit more anthemic.
Yep. Yeah, it's a little different compared to the earlier stuff. Oh, crap, I got another one that everybody knows that I pulled out. A band a lot of people probably aren't going to like.
Let's see.
The first Europe album.
I know the Final Countdown, and that's about it.
Well,
I
actually,
never got
this
into
one-
them.
They'll
This
never
one
be. No matter what album, how many albums they can put out, they'll always be remembered for the Final Countdown.
Well, yeah, man, it's a huge thing.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. But this one actually has more of like a new wave of British heavy metal sound.
I
And like I would say a proto power. I would say a proto power metal
prog,
sound.
something like that. I always think
That
like,
makes
lump 'em
sense.
in With,
I
make
think
a
that
lump
does.
'em in with
I
Face
think
Warning, Queensryche, maybe some Dream Theater. You can easily throw Europe in there.
Yeah. I mean, I think power metal generally came from a lot of new wave of British heavy metal, or just that heavy metal style in general.
Yeah, you think there's some of those early bands like say Sirathungal, Riot.
But on that first but on the first album, they're definitely more raw and underproduced, and it definitely has more of a, like I said, a new wave of British heavy metal type of sound. A little bit more of a progressive sound too.
I'll have to check that one out. I'm actually, because like I said, my knowledge of Europe is the Final Countdown, and then didn't Arch Enemy cover a song of theirs?
Oh yeah, which one did they cover?
It was not on one of my favorite albums though, but I remember they covered that. Oh, that's a Europe song, and it's not the Final Countdown.
Oh, yes. I forget which one it is now.
Yeah,
the first album is quite different.
Power group or even proto prog, they kind of are kind of proggy in some cases. They're not full blown prog, but they're proto prog. They're kind of like that type or Fates Warning, like early Fates Warning or something like that. Not quite prog, proto prog. But I would definitely say power metal in some cases for Europe.
Yeah.
And their band, I definitely want to do a retrospective on at some point. Because everybody's like, oh, we all know Final Count. But there might be maybe some of the albums might have some great stuff on it.
Well, like the first album has double bass on it. A lot of twin guitar harmonies.
Oh, we're talking Priest style then. Oh, Priest, whatever you can.
I would say probably more early Maiden style to an extent.
Yeah,
it's got the killer sound.
Talking like early, like maybe say first album Maiden.
Maybe a little.
Maybe when Bruce comes in.
Here's one. Baroness. Baroness is drastically different. If you've heard the first and second EPs, that shit's heavy.
That's true, yep.
Even the Red album, too.
And then doing all those different colored albums, naming them all based off the color of the album, the red album, the green album, all that.
Yeah, I think John Baisley was just like, I don't like naming albums things. A color is more representative of how I think an album can feel.
Right.
Yeah. But those are ones I definitely want to get either on CD or vinyl. Maybe more so on vinyl because those are cool. Some of the designs are pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I have a print of his. It's upstairs. I bought it at one of the shows. That dude is an awesome artist.
I think I got into them around the same time I discovered, Coheed and Cambria. And finding out that Coheed and Cambria were doing like this whole big concept universe, the Armory Wars. I'm just like, holy shit.
I bought the Red record on a whim just because, Relapse. I put a sticker on there and say for fans of, and it was one of the weirdest ones because they said like, oh, for fans of Mastodon. I was like, okay. Converge, maybe, and Municipal Waste. I was like, I'm already looking at this.
I don't know how to think. Baroness is being kind of somewhat related to Municipal Waste. That's just
I mean, I think they were just trying to get like as wide of a demographic for an unknown band.
Mastodon, I get, but Municipal Waste, a thrash band, and kind of death metal or something. I don't know. The thrash, definitely. Wait, does Baroness even have any thrash in them?
Maybe they took the bridge of one of the songs where they were doing like the dueling harmonies there was like a section that had like this really, it's the second track, I think it's the birthing on the Red record. bouncing back and forth.
That's
Big
more like a
fucking,
thrashy type
you know.
of- yeah, that would.
But that's it. That's really the only part I can say is like, yeah, I suppose that's
Municipal.
trash-ish. Not enough to put municipal waste's fucking
Oh,
name in for fans of.
Municipal waste. I'm like, where are you? Are you kidding me? What the fuck?
Yeah, if people pick that up expecting to hear...
They're kind of, fairness, I can always think of, they're kind of similar somewhat to Mastodon in some cases.
Yeah, I think they're like
Converge,
softer.
That's kind of early metalcore. I can't remember. They made...
No, Converge is definitely metalcore. They're one like... They're probably one of the OGs of like, in terms of old school metalcore.
The good, not the ones with Killswitch Engage, all that remains.
I can't knock metalcore too much because I got to be honest. This motherfucker rips. This fucking rips. New every time I die.
I need to get that because I'm a fan of what's his name, Andy. He's with All Elite Wrestling. I'm so getting into that. I'm into that because
it's heavier than fuck. It's riffy. Every time I die does like fun stuff with metalcore.
Yeah,
that's true. Southern rock.
It's just like what the fuck?
There's atmospheric stuff in here, but most of the time they are just beating you over the head, and I love the really sarcastic lyrics and shit. Like, it's like, yeah, half the time we don't, you know, if we make them make sense, it's going to be about us making fun of something. And I love that.
It seems the track self-boredom. I'm just like, God.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, post-boredom. Post-boredom has a massive fucking hook.
You just having a tambourine. It's just like
a colossal wreck, desperate pleasures. All this and war. So distress rehearsal. That's fucking funny. I like that. Yeah, there's a song simply called "Sex, Sex, Sex."
Sucked.
But honestly, the entire album just fucking whooped ass, and it legit surprised me with how catchy and tuneful they can be sometimes. Like, kind of close to Mastodon. I was like, wow. I mean, you were just beating the shit out of me earlier. Like, there's one song on there that had blast beats, like a crossover thrash section, and then they got something that is really kind of sing-songy. And I guess all of them have like a huge hard-on for Southern rock, like classic Southern rock and shit. It's like, yeah, we like it because a lot of the lyrics for storytelling, and it's a little sleazy. And so are we.
Oh, that's cool. That's okay. Now you're making me want to listen to that album now.
Dude, jam it. It's.
I'm just gonna say, man, that's a band I haven't listened to in probably 17 or 18 years. Well, 16 to 17 years at least. Yeah, I mean, I know they played.
Because obviously,
they played it on.
Andy is
Sounds like Underground.
The Butcher, or is he the? I forgot which one Andy is in All Elite Wrestling. Was he the Butcher?
He's the Butcher.
Yeah, he's a big guy, got like somewhat curly, long hair, got like a mustache.
Yo, he's a big motherfucker.
I'm like.
But no, what were we saying then?
This guy seems out of place in a metalcore band. What the?
That's how I know him.
No.
Yeah.
No, they told it one of the best.
Because of him.
I didn't. They might have.
I think it's 2004. I remember seeing them. At the time, I wasn't really into their music. It's one of them bands I'd have to revisit because it's been so long.
There's like a handful of like metalcore bands I'll come back to. I think because I saw them, Sounds of the Underground 2005, and they were one of the bands that were higher up on there. I remember because Keith Buckley, the front man, was just joking around and was like, Andy, he's like, Andy, play that dirty riff we learned. And he's just playing this big southern sludgy riff. It's like, see that? We call that the shit riff. Okay? It made us all unclean when he played it. We all had to take showers. Don't worry, not together. But as soon as we played it, there was like poo coming out of the speakers. I'm pretty sure of it.
Oh, God.
But yeah, that's every time I die. They joke around a lot. I have one of their DVDs, and Keith Buckley decided, I'm going to get blackout drunk and pass out in the sun and get a sunburn. And that's my plan today.
Yeah, I just remember they had a really unique sound. And at the time...
Yeah. There's a handful of metalcore bands I will keep following. And every time I die, definitely one of them because I'm always entertained. They're just nuts. Their style is kind of unpredictable. Like there's a little bit of like kind of like old school botch and converge sort of sound to it, but the southern riffs and then clean vocals to hardcore shouts, like I don't know, it all works really well, and it's very riffy. Like if you love riffs, Every Time I Die loves fucking riffs.
I'm gonna have to revisit them. It's been a very long time since I've listened to them.
I would start right there.
Yeah, I'm just getting it. I'm the one that's
Radical is radical. It is.
It definitely sounds like a good place to start.
Like about a couple hours before I jumped on here, and I was just like, dude, fuck yes, let's go.
Especially with a track like Sex, Sex, Sex. Come on now.
I'm just like,
I got to
front to back. You're just getting punched in the fucking teeth left and right with fucking riffs and heaviness. Like I fucking loved it. Yeah, honestly, it might be one of their most solid albums, and I love their last one. Low Teens was fucking killer. I think like in terms of like metalcore bands that I'll still follow, like it's them, Converge, Norma Jean. I'll still pick up Norma Jean releases because they are deceptive.
I've heard about
them. I've heard about Norma Jean.
And I also get Kill Switch Engage, even though like all the positivity starts annoying me. Is like, yes, I know we can triumph over whatever happened.
But you still got some killer stuff. Like I think This Fire Burns. I mean, come on, it's
there's really great songs they've written.
Hell, they even freaking covered Holy Diver for Christ's sakes. That's just,
we brought up Catatonia, dude. The first two Catatonia albums are awesome.
Hell yeah, they are.
I mean, I like where Catatonia is now, though. Well, all right, I didn't like City Burials as much as I liked. Fall of Hearts. Fall of Hearts is a beautiful album.
Yeah, I've been listening to that. That's some great songs on it.
God,
I forgot what year that was. Was that 2016? I think that was 2016. But I was like, I do remember that was a great album.
Fuck it, let's pick a really popular band because their style definitely changed. Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh god!
Of course.
Yeah.
Even though I can't stand the fucking band.
I can't either, dude.
Without freaking mentioning them, yep.
I bought way too many of their albums.
Yeah.
Where they were.
There was a time I did kind of like them.
I mean,
15 years ago.
They're good musicians. M. Shadow's voice sucks. I can't stand his nasally ass voice.
Right. I actually did meet him one time, though. It's when I saw them in 2006 in Pittsburgh. He was actually a really nice guy.
Well, I mean, that's good. I hate that nasally voice. It drives me nuts. Like that's what you're gonna sing with. Like their guitars,
it's kind of
pretty good.
It's kind of weird on that show.
I love the fact they got that guy. Well, I forget his name, but the left-handed guy. Freaking love that they. That's I always love it. I always love it when I see a left-handed player. Freaking awesome.
It's kind of weird.
Continue.
It's kind of weird that show. Oh fuck! I lost my train of thought. Oh, we're talking about when I met in Saturdays. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that show in Pittsburgh back in 2006. It was really weird. Me and my buddy were just standing outside after the show, and he just walked up and started talking to us, just out of the blue, asking us if we enjoyed the show. And I'm like,
that's
kind of cool. Yeah,
you don't get that very much, especially from bigger celebrities. Because let's be honest.
They were starting to become pretty big at that time too, around the City of Evil album.
Yeah,
we're about to go into the self-titled album at that point.
Yeah, that album.
But yeah, that's a band I definitely don't follow no more though.
Here's one that has a very drastic shift in sound. Anathema.
I was thinking about them earlier because they started out kind of like a death doom band.
Dude, really death doom too.
Yeah. Then it went into like a Pink Floyd type of sound.
I guess. I like all right, A Fine Day to Exit. I absolutely love that album, and We're Here Because We're Here. also think it's really good. Kind of progressive, I guess. But the early stuff is fucking brutal. Like, I mean, it's right in there with like My Dying Bride and Paradise Lost. But yeah, hard shift. But still, they did a pretty good job.
Well, that's a really good one right there. Paradise Lost. They definitely went through some weird sound changes over the years.
Oh, was it 1 second? Was the one they went kind of all Depeche Mode-y?
Yeah, that's the one that came out in '96.
Yeah, I think that's right. I'll be honest, I don't hate it. I like. I like Depeche Mode.
Listen to it. I mean, since then they have gone back to their Death Doom sound.
Oh yeah. Oh, big time.
But in the '90s, they were definitely going in weird directions.
I mean, the '90s. I mean, like, especially like the mid to late '90s. That was rough if you were in a metal band, because all of a sudden, the world was like, "Fuck metal." Well, I mean, we can do other things, and you had a lot of bands that pushed the panic button, so we got to change our style, man. Let's all get haircuts and wear eyeliner. not singling out any bands there. But yeah, like Paradise Lost kind of just jumped ship on kind of the Death Doom and went with like Depeche Mode. I mean, I guess it was still kind of goth rock.
Yeah.
But I mean, and there's still elements of that. Like the last album, the song Ghosts or Ghost, it sounds like a heavy Sisters of Mercy song. So that's not entirely left them, and that wasn't like such a shift where like they were just playing like happy-go-lucky fucking pop music, because your name's Paradise Lost. There's not a lot of happiness that lurks in that band. But yeah, no, that is a good one.
I was thinking too. Another one I was thinking of is Satricon or Satricon.
I think Satyricon.
Satyricon, however you pronounce it. I always fuck it up. Yes, Satyricon.
Yeah. All right. I like Rebel Extravaganza because I know there's people that shit all over that album. I think it's actually a good album. It's industrial. Like, it has like a lead in and a lead out that's machinery noises. Calm your.
I kind of like that album too. It's their more recent stuff I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, the Now Diabolical is almost kind of black and roll.
I'm not a big fan of black and roll.
For some odd reason, I like the song King though. I don't know. It's just a simple stomp of a song.
It's very. I will admit it's a pretty catchy tune.
And the title track's not bad, but I mean, yeah, there's some stuff that really, really misses the mark. And shit. What was the one with the fucking snake on the cover? I still don't like that one very much. Volcano? I think that's right.
I think it is Volcano.
Yeah, I don't really care for that one. Like, honestly, like Nemesis Divina's, I'd say, where they fucking peaked, and then everything else was just kind of like, well, we're just going to keep doing different shit. Though, I'll be honest, I didn't mind the last one. I thought the last one was pretty good.
It had its moment. I mean, there was decent stuff on it.
Some good riff-oriented stuff. Like, I don't think they're going to go for the... I think it's almost kind of similar to what Dark Throne's doing now, which Dark Throne does whatever the fuck Dark Throne wants.
Right.
They want to do riffy old school metal, and every time they put out an album, they seem like they're moving further away from anything remotely black metal. But I think it's still going to be a part of them no matter what. But yeah, I think that's what Satyricon kind of went for with their last one. I don't know. I thought it was all right. I mean, Lamb of God. Yeah, you got Wyatt's Metal Life saying Lamb of God. I think Lamb of God. I mean, the early stuff, all right, New American Gospel. Yeah, that's a big change, especially with Randy becoming more clear. Let's see, what other ones have I got in here? So, 1 second here. We'll let Ben take care of his business. And, yeah. I'm going to continue looking for stuff because I'm going to wait for him to get back because I got to piss. Oh, my God. No. Shit. All right. Play metal. So what's up, everyone?
All right.
Oh,
I'm back.
all right. I gotta dip out because I need to pee and have a smoke. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna dip out for the night because I didn't get back in town last night from Youngstown until 4 a.m.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Oh no, it was a long fucking haul, but it was fun. It was just good going to. I cherish every fucking show now after everything. Shows are great.
Oh yeah, man.
But yeah, thanks for
Sounds
having me on again, man.
Yeah, thanks for joining, man.
Hey, not a problem, man. It's good fucking conversation. There was a lot of shit. It was like, oh wow, they did really shift their sound. But yeah,
I'm still thinking of a lot of other. There could be a part 2 of this too.
oh yeah, there's tons. I was thinking about doing like a thread of something kind of related to that, or I don't know. I kind of want to just see if I start a thread and just like, all right, go fucking frolic, metalheads, talk about it.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, man, I will catch you later. Thank you very much for having me, man. And yeah, man, be safe.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, bro. Take care, man.
Peace.
All right. Well, I guess before I leave here, I'll read the comments because I'm not going to stay on very much longer either. So if I can get this thing to work. All right. What the heck is... All right, there we go. Okay. All right, so... Okay, I read that comment. Oh, cool, man. Got my coworker, Brett, in the house. Love the content. Keep up the good work. Hell yeah, it's all about the metal around here. So yeah, we'll definitely keep doing that. What about Catatonia? They started off as Death Doom. Yep. Already covered that. Karen Traub. Good evening, guys. Hello, Mr. Ben. Late checking in. Had an upper arm muscle cramp that's been bothering me the past 5 hours, but just wanted to click the like button and say hello. Well, much appreciated. Most definitely. Wyatt's Metal Life. They were good when they came out, but they're not my style. Oh, Avenged Sevenfold, yeah. I don't listen to that fucking band. Anymore. I guess you could say Lamb of God changed their style a little. Randy started singing a little in songs. Very true. Which started around 2015 with that album. Which I can't really think of the name of it because I'm not the biggest Lamb of God fan anymore either. I just jumped in the stream. Did I miss anything? Hell yeah, man. You missed a lot. You should do bands that haven't changed their styles. Oh, well, we could do that too. Most definitely. But anyway, you know what? This is the stream for tonight. Thanks to Necrotic Nick, Ryan Arnold, and to all you motherfuckers for joining in tonight and keeping it fucking metal and supporting real music. But for now, it is last call. Because good night, sweetheart, and it's time to go. Keep it fucking metal.